ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 अस्तु हा नळिनी भगिनी प्रथम
Namaskaram to all. I am going to deal with Nyaya. Um, it comes from the Dish Prekshane Dhatu, to make one see the truth. Okay. We had, ma'am gave us a very elaborate, very nicely done introduction. So I'll just try and put that in a nutshell. Okay. Nyaya system was propounded by Gautam Rishi, the Vaisheshika by Pranada, Sankhya by Kapila, Yoga by Patanjali, Purva Mimamsa by Jaimini, Uttara Mimamsa by Vyasa. There are two kinds of...
just a minute. You have to adjust your camera. Half of your face is not visible while you are talking.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it is.
Yes. There are two kinds of darshanas, Astika Darshana and Nastika Darshana. Astika Darshana is where those systems which accepted Vedas as Pramana, and the Nastika Darshanas are systems which did not accept Vedas as the final authorities. For example, the Jaina, Bauddha, and the Charvaka darshanas. But of course, all of them accepted the Pratyaksha Pramana as valid to arrive at the ultimate truth. Okay. So then, of course, you have you have the Anumana Pramana, Upamana Pramana, Shabda Pramana. Okay. All of them, you find that the Anumana Pramana is accepted by all except the Charvaka school. Upamana Pramana was accepted by Nyaya, Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa, Advaita. Then you have the Shabda Pramana, which was accepted by Nyaya, the Sankhya, the Yoga, the Purva and Uttara Mimamsa, the Advaita, the Vishishta Advaita, and the Dvaita. Okay. Then, of course, you have the Uplabdhi and the Anupalabdhi, accepted, of course, by the Purva and the Uttara Mimamsa, and followed by the Advaita philosophers. Advaita philosophy was propounded by Adi Shankaracharya. Then you have Vishishta Advaita by Ramanujacharya, and the Dvaita philosophy by Madhvacharya. The Agama was accepted as Pramana by all the three, the Advaita, the Dvaita, and the Vishishta Advaita. Then you have the Astika Darshana is, you also know it as Nyaya Darshana, Nyaya Vada, Tarka Shastra, and Anivikshika. Okay, and if you want a translation of it in English, you can look at it as epistemology, perception, logical realism, and the causality of things. Okay. So then, of course, when you're looking at what does Nyaya mean today? Nyaya today means, very loosely translated, as justice, the most basic sense. What is it really? It is the Nyaya. Nyaya is justice in the most basic sense, but of course, it's a very vast subject. Okay. And you find that, what is it? What takes us forward to what is required to be understood? That can also be looked at as Nyaya. Okay. So what takes us forward to what is required to be understood is also Nyaya. Okay. It is the lamplight to all the Vidyas. All the Vidyas are getting help through Nyaya. Okay. And of course, you have, to do whatever activity you want. Nyaya Shastra is the place where all dharmas and shastras take shelter. That is also this thing. It is, Nyaya Shastra is also the means, and it's very important to understand Nyaya Shastra, because it is, in a sense, a base to a lot of other things. Okay. So then, of course, you find Nyaya signifying logic, which is identical with Nigama. Okay. So you have Adhyaya, and then Udyava, Samhara, and Adhara. These are, Adhyaya is chapter, Okay, Uddhava is mixture. Then you have Samhara, which is distraction, and so on. Now, of course, you can also look at Nyaya in a variety of senses. It can be looked at as Hetu Vidya, which is the science of causes. Anveshiki is the science of inquiry. Pramana Shastra is the science of correct knowledge. Tattva Shastra is the science of categories. Tarka Vidya is the science of reasoning. So Nyaya Sutras divided, of course, into five. Nyaya Sutra divided into five books, each of them containing 2 chapters called Ahnikas or diurnal portions. And it is believed that Akshapada finished his work on Nyaya in 10 lectures corresponding to the Ahnikas referred to above. Okay, so we don't know whether the whole of the Nyaya Shastra as it exists at present was the work of Akshapada. So only the first book of the Nyaya Shastra contains a brief explanation of the 16 categories that we are justified in ascribing to Akshapada. There are 16 categories, 16 as in 16 categories. By gaining knowledge of these 16 categories, we can attain bliss. Okay, so we have 16 categories. And what is this all about? You have knowledge about the true nature of the 16 categories. Okay, meaning the true knowledge of the enunciation, definition, and critical examination of the categories. So while one part of it will only be putting out or enunciating something, you might have, analysis, coming to some kind of a conclusion or leaving it inconclusive, whatever. So book one of the Nyaya Shastra treats enunciation and definition, while the remaining form books that are reserved for critical examination. So you have NYAYIKAs called logical reasoning, which accept that the world is real. Okay, so now we also have certain, like for example, the Advaita philosophy, where we see everything that is, we look at everything as Maya or, not real. But this, the NYAYIKAs also called logical realism, accept that the world is real. Okay, so then, of course, we looked at what was Nirvikalpa and Savikalpa. When we see an object, if we don't have clarity, then it is Nirvikalpa. If we are clearly able to identify something when we see it, then it is Savikalpa Praman. Okay, so then, of course, we have looked at examples from the 16 categories. First of all, what is the first one? That is Pramana. Okay, Prama meaning valid knowledge. Pramana is the source of valid knowledge. Then you have Prameya. Okay, you have Samshaya to arrive at the Nirnaya. Okay, then you have Vada, Jalpa, and Vitanda. Now, Vada, Jalpa, and Vitanda was, looked at together as Katha. Katha is not just story, but it is also what do you do even in, in our regional languages, we say, Vada Madodu. In Kannada, we say, Vada yak martira. Why are you arguing? Okay, so Vada. Then you have Jalpa, 2 people arguing in order to win the argument, each of them justifying his or her stance. When does somebody do Vitanda? Vitanda is you have nothing to say in your defense. You are running out of arguments, but you want to put down somebody else and thereby win the argument. So what do? You are ready to condemn the other person. Okay. Then, of course, what is Chala? Now, Vada, Jalpa, Vitanda form Katha. Now, the other one is Chala. What is Chala is you are unable to win the argument. So you turn the argument in different direction. Okay. So you have, for example, somebody says, I think ma'am gave the example of somebody has come from Kashmir. Okay. And the word Nava was kind of turned around. Okay. So Nava meaning new, Nava also meaning 9. So when you want to turn the thing in some other direction. So, you either want to change the subject and thereby say, I have said something right and therefore I win the argument. Then it is called Chala. Okay. So then, of course, you have, Pratyaksha. Then we looked at the different types of inference. We looked at the importance of direct perception. Pratyaksha Pramana is direct. Okay. Then you have the Anumana, Upamana, and Shabda. You have in Anumana itself, you have 3 types: Purvavata, Sheshavata, and Samanyato Drashtaha. Okay. Now, what does Purvavata mean? By looking at dark clouds, you're going to tell somebody it is going to rain. It has not yet rained, but you're looking at the signs in the sky and you're saying Purva. Purva is before. Then of course, what is Sheshavata? One day you go, to a particular place and you don't find rain there, but there is a dam or a river full of water. So you say, must have been rain in some higher levels. So Sheshavata. Okay. So you have drawn the inference from what you see. Okay. Then what is the last one? Samanya Drashtaha. The crops are growing well in a particular area. So maybe the water table is high. The region is well watered by rain. Okay, so Samanya Drashtaha is that. Okay, so there are these three types of inferences or that come under Anumana. Then you have Swarthanumana and Pararthanumana. Okay, now what is Swarthanumana? Swa meaning when we experience it on our own, then it's Swarthanumana. Pararthanumana is others telling you that this is going to happen. What is happening? Something is, when you experience it yourself, then then it is Swa. It is Pararthanumana is when others are going to tell you what is happening. Okay. So then, of course, you have the Shabda Pramana. What is Shabda Pramana? Shabda Pramana is when anyone whom you consider an authority, that person's words are accepted as the truth. Okay. Then you have Upamana is when you have when you compare two things and arrive at a conclusion. That is Upamana. Okay, Shabdartha. So then, of course, you find that inspired by Gautama's Nyaya Shastra, you find that there was a long list of treatises which were based on Gautama's or which drew inspiration from Nyaya Shastra. Okay, so there was that long list. Then you have ma'am talking about the importance of Navadvipa, which is in present day Bengal, which was very popular with Nyaya and Vaisheshikas and these people who actually wrote treatises in these, using Nyaya. Okay, so that is basically what I understood from this that it's a very, very basic this thing and is a very vast subject, a very deep subject, and there are various ways in which you can arrive at the ultimate truth also. And there was this long list, you have Pramana, Prameya, Samshaya, Prayojana, Dukha, Drishtanta, Siddhanta, Avayava, Tarka, Nirnaya, Vada, Jalpa, Vitanda, Chala. Okay, and then like that, there are, 15 or 16 of them all listed, each of them having their own importance in Nyaya Shastra. Thank you, ma'am.
Here, one or two points you have missed actually. First, you have to say what is Nyaya? Niyate anena iti. That you have to, that you forgot to mention. And one more thing, yes, this Dukkha Janma. What is this Dukkha Janma Pravritti Dosha Mithya Jnananam Uttarottarapaye tad anantara bhavat apavargaha. So how to get out of this? What is the cause for misery in this world? That they have Gautama Rishi has talked about. That you have to add to your notes.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Who is going to talk about Vaisheshika?
Start, Rama Mahode. Actually, I think both of us are, we have chosen the topic. So, may I start, Rama Mahode? And
okay, we'll start. Then I will.
Yes, because I have taken some portions of the.
I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, am I audible?
Some problem here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Namaste. So, so the topic what I have chosen is Vaisheshika Darshanam. And it's again one of the, Astika Darshanani that accept the authority of the Vedas. While they accept the authority of the Vedas, but they don't really bring in God per se while explaining their philosophy. But yeah, but a very rational and realistic approach, through perception, inference, so, and the purpose of like all these philosophical inquiry is to basically to facilitate the achievement of moksha. So they all serve all these. It could be Vaisheshika, Nyaya, Sankhya, or it could be even Yoga, Mimamsa, Vedanta. They serve as a moral compass for humanity to pursue dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. That's how it is. And coming to Vaisheshika Darshanam, that's derived from the term Vishesha, or particularity. And Rishi Kanada, he is credited as the founder of, basically architect of Vaisheshika Darshanam. So basically this Vaisheshika Darshanam, it believes that this nature or universe, cosmos, or whatever, state of being which exists, so all are built out of atoms, an aggregation of atoms, various, combinations, and which is again eternal, and they take different forms and shapes. It could be, an animal, it could be a pen, it could be human being, mountain, anything. And as mentioned earlier, again, we are analyzing it all through experience, exploring it, for self, and explaining, so that's how the basic premise is. And that also, and similarly, how the person should pursue these purusharthas also, through experimenting, through exploring, questioning, yeah. And so of course it's around Rishi Kanada, the dating is back to 600 BCE, where he says that the fundamental building block of this nature is uncaused and eternal, that it has no length, breadth, height or thickness, but it has the positional reality. And when we talk about the Vaisheshika Sutras, yeah, so that is the oldest, the text, which again we attribute to Rishi Kanada. So this has around 373 sutras or principles, which are, categorized in 10 different chapters, articulated very well. Though they are one-line sutras, they carry profound meaning. For example, like, how chapter 1 has, around 48 sutras, and they talk about the, dravyas, which we will come to it a little later. I'll, in my presentation, brief presentation, dravya, and then, the atomic substances, then gunas, the karma, generality, specificity, and where chapter 2, it talks about the properties of dravya, and the sensory perception abilities of mankind, like when humanity, when we come in contact with nature. And then here it also talks about, nitya, anitya, where nitya is something eternal, anitya is, something which transient, and then space, time, mind, and understanding of, the self, basically. And then again, whole lot of other topics, like gravitational force, the laws of motion, impact of adrishta on mankind, that's the invisible forces in nature, and then concept of dana, pratigraha. Also something which I also, came across in some another video. This Vaisheshika Darshanam, there's a nice blending of science and humanities. It's not talking only about science, versus to what we learned back in school, like in either science, arts, commerce. So here is, very beautiful blending of science and humanities, just, to define the purpose of life, right? And yeah, so that is, and yeah, so basically all these topics, which I have not listed down all the topics, but the few examples which I gave, then the process of explaining, the atoms, and then the all these boils down to, again, understanding of sukha and dukkha, they are the transient nature, and then, in some way discover the purpose of our own lives. Yeah, so atomic theory, which given by Rishi Kanada, it's basically like a vehicle to explain, our own ultimate goal of life, to, discover for ourselves, in other words. Now, when we come to the outlook of these, the Vaisheshika Sutras, right? So here there is one more, so it says that, Prithivyapas Tejo, Vayurakasham, Kalo, Digatma, Mana iti dravyani. So here he talks about all these 8 categories. Yeah, so as I mentioned, the basic premise or the primary concern of Vaisheshika Darshanam is to categorize, whatever has a nature of, being, state of being in this cosmos or universe into basically to enumerate or even classify, and they're classified into 8 categories, fundamental categories, which are called padarthaha. And among that, the first one is the dravya. So it's basically a substance or a substratum that exists independently of all other padartha. And dravya is something, it is the basic material cause of all the compound things. So everything is produced from it. Nature and cosmos, everything is made, and other categories can't exist without dravya. So under dravya, we have seen that there are 9 in number. That is, Prithvi, then Apas. Prithvi is, earth. Then Apas is, is water. And Tejas is fire. Then Vayu, Akasha, air. And then, Kala is time. Then Dik is space. And Atman again is the self. And Manas is mind. So while we talk about the Panchabhutas, it's quite interesting to see here, we have something called Atman and Manas also, right? So, yeah. And here again, something again which I found out, which I came across somewhere else is, so under this Vaisheshika Darshanam, so basically creation means combining of atoms, and destruction, it is, like dissolution of atoms. Yeah, so basically that is, we have, that is the first padartha, that is dravya. And the next one is guna. So how we perceive these dravyas, right? That comes under guna, right? Or the attributes. Again, each are, unique, and they also need a dravya to reside in. For example, there are around 17 gunas. Just to give, example, it could be rupa, rasa, gandha, sparsha. Then it could be, parimana, and even ichha, sukha, dukkha, dvesha, prayatna, buddhi. So all these come under gunas. Yeah, and the next padartha is, yeah.
Gunas are 24 in number. It is not 17.
Okay. I must have missed the number, Mahode. Shamyatam. Astu. Yeah. Yeah. So, and the next padartha is karma. Again, it is defined as motion or action. And again, it cannot exist independently. It exists in dravya. And so here it's very contextual. I don't think it is, they're referring to the prarabdha karma here. When, Rishi Kanada talks about karma here. So here again, he talks about the 5 types of motion, that is karmani. So one is utshepanam, that is, throwing something up, and then avakshepanam, that is throwing something down, then akunchanam, that is contraction, then prasaranam, expansion, and gamanam, movement. And the next padartha is samanya, that is, generality, whereas basically where, we can group together the objects that have similar characteristics. And then we have Vishesha, that is specificity, so where, something which is, different from the other, that could be Vishesha. And then we have, Samavaya or inherence, how things are inseparably connected. Yeah, so basically, yeah, and of course the scientific concepts which are, given in Vaisheshika Sutrani, So he has detailed out the atomic theory, that's presented in a great detail, and the karma and the gravitational force, that is Gurutva Karshanam, and then laws of motion. And yeah, so definition of atom is also explained very well. Sadakarana Vanityam Tasya Karyam Lingam. So here, I think he's trying to say that the fundamental existence of this nature is uncaused. It is eternal. That is, the existence of atom has no cause. It's just there. And, it's also Nityam Parimandalam. So that which is eternal is spherical. So like this, he has given a number of other sutrani. Yeah, so basically what I understand, or what I got out of this was, of course, I have not covered all the aspects, but what I understand is through this atomic theory, or through this, not only atomic theory, because it talks about other concepts also, all this, by prayoga, by experimentation, by, experiencing, where we understand, the true form, the true nature of matter, so we explore, and also, yeah, so basically we try to understand our purpose in life, and yeah, so yes, so that's what I have. Yeah, so yeah, dhanyavada.
Samyak. Tatra, you have to add this point, no? Athato dharmam vyakhyasayamaha.
Oh,
So
yes.
everything is based on dharma. So fundamental concept is dharma. That you have to add. Samyak.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Chitra, this excellent studies you've done on this topic, Visheshika Darshana. My question relates to this atomic theory that you mentioned, which is the basic to the life, as you say. And did you come across, my question is, did you come across that this is the constituent of all that exists in the world, whether it is inanimate or living beings?
Yeah, right. So basically, whatever is in a state of being, that was the basic premise of Vaisheshika Darshanam. Whatever is in a state of being, is an aggregation of atoms, various forms and, shapes and forms. So, yeah.
So did it go down to the, like in modern science, in atomic theory, we read about subatomic particles. Did it stop at atom in your studies, or
No,
it went
here
to
what I
subatomic?
understand is, so Anu is something which it could be even Paramanu or even subatomic, which cannot be divided further. That's what
Oh,
I understand, from,
last constituent.
yeah. So, it can go down to, of course, we have now quarks and all that. So here what I understand is, this Anu, it refers to that particle, which you cannot divide further. And
Yeah,
all that,
absolutely.
whatever is there in this universe, cosmos, everything is made up of that, in various, through this, the samavaya, the relationships and all that.
So that means what we are now finding out last about 100 years, 150 years, since Niels Bohr is the guy, scientist, Niels Bohr, who's ascribed as the inventor of atomic theory. He is the one who has talked about atom and nucleus. So this was all fraud committed on us, because you say 600 BCE means roughly 2700 years ago, 2600 years ago.
No, we can't
All this was
accept
invented.
this as
Yeah.
2700 years ago, because these people were even prior to 5000 years. That's what I have understood by going through. Because when we talk about Patanjali is much later, no? But Patanjali was present in Janaka's court, King Janaka's court, right?
Oh,
Ah,
that is 14,000 years ago,
yeah,
15,000 years.
yeah.
Bhagwan
So we
Ram's time.
can't accept this 600 BC and all those things, all Western theories. That's why.
No. I said 600 BCE. What Chatra, I think, mentioned, if I have understood right. So that takes us to 2600 years ago.
Oh,
today.
okay. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I mentioned that 26K, I mean, 100 years ago. While you were mentioning it's even older, Bhagwan Ram's time has been timed out to 12,209 BCE. There's a book written by a guy who's in America. He's done a lot of research based on the astronomical positions and the stars, which prevailed at that time when Ramayana was written by Valmiki ji. So based on that, he's done research over 20 years. And he's written a book which name is 12,209 BCE, Ram Ravana Yuddha. So if you ever come across, maybe I can share the link. Book is easily available on Amazon. So he's excellently done some mathematical and scientific reasoning, including hydrological and other pramanas, which prevailed as per the Valmiki Ramayana, mentioned clearly. I'm sorry, I'm talking about this because I just wanted to time it. So if you are saying it is Samkaleen with Janaka, then it's about 14,000 years ago.
See, Patanjali was contemporary of Janaka. But all these people, they were prior to Patanjali.
Acha.
Patanjali was more recent, actually. Okay.
Thank you. And last, Chatra, did you, which books did you consult? Because you've gone into a fair amount of details on this subject. Did you consult any specific books?
No, actually, I looked up some of the videos, so there is this one person called Manjushri Hegde. So she has given, she is also a research scholar, and she has also given a number of talks on various schools of philosophy, including Vaisheshika. And I also referred to this YouTube channel called Project Shivoham. So there they have two videos, one is on the atomic theory and the other one is on, I think, gravity, yeah. So, and they kind of, so I took some points from there and from the slides also, the PPT basically.
Project Shivam is of Isha Foundation?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you. Will you mind putting this across as a PDF in our group?
You mean the
Your
link
paper?
of the video? The link of the video?
No, the paper that you have presented.
Okay,
If at all you have written it.
I shall type and I shall put it up.
Yeah, it'll be great if you do that at your own pace. Thank you very much.
So I've just scribbled it now for my reference. I shall type it up and I shall.
Understood.
Yeah.
I couldn't make out. So whenever you have time, you may kindly do that.
Sure.
So next is Rama Mahodeva.
I am also going to talk about Vaisheshika only. I will cover the point she missed. Or I have to from the beginning.
No. Whatever she has not covered, that you can.
She is founded by Kanata. We know the Vaisheshika is derived from the word Vishesha, and it is propagated by Kanata. Kanan Atti iti Kanataha. That is Kananati is the eater of atoms. That is, people used to laugh at him and tell that's because Kana is the eater of atoms. Actually, but he lived a ascetic life and only fed on grains. So people called him Kanata. It is Padartha, about Padartha, she told everything. 7 6 Padarthas. And Annambata is Abhava is another Padartha. Later it is added to this Vaisheshika Darshana. Vaisheshika Abhava means non-existence is the absence of an object is Abhava. That Abhava, it is Sansarga Abhava and Anyonya Abhava. There are two. Then it is further divided into Prag Bhava, Vamsa Bhavaha, Adyanta Bhavaha, and Anyonya Bhavaha. Pragbhava means that one pot is, before making the pot, only clay is there. The state is called Pragbhava. Then
Abhava. Pragabhava.
Pragabhava. Dvamsa bhavaha. That is, when the pot is broken, at that stage is called Dvamsa bhavaha. Adyanta bhavaha means, that there is no pot at all. That bhava is called Adyanta bhavaha. Anyonya bhavaha. The similarity is the Anyonya bhavaha. Then abhava non-existent. Now some Vaisheshika sutras you taught us. We shall explain Atato Dharma Vyakyasyamaha. We shall explain Dharma. Yato Bhuta Yudat Yani Streyasi. Yato Abhuta Yani Streyas Siddhis Dharmaha. Dharma results in exaltation of the Supreme Good. Tadvachanat Amnayasya Pramanyam. That is authoritative of the Vedas is being the word of the God. Dharma Vishesha Prasudha Dravya Guna Karma Samanya Vishesha Samavayanam Padarthanam Sadharmyam Dharmyam Yam Tadvajnanendriya Shreyasam. That is, the supreme good results from the knowledge produced by the particular dharma of the essence of the predictable padarthas. That is dravya, guna, the six padarthas. Dravya, guna, karma, and karma, samanya, vishesha, and samavaya. Then dravyani dravyantara arabante gunashya gunatra. Substances originate from one substance, another originate another substance. That is the meaning of that sutra. Samyoga vibhaga veganam karma samanam. Action is the common cause of conjunction, disjunction, and elasticity. Then sutras and padarthas. Some sutras talks about the padarthas that I will explain. Dravya kriya gunavat samavayi karanam. It possesses combinative cause. That is action and attributes. Gunaha attributes, that is which is not the independent cause of conjunction and disjunction. Then karma, it has only resided in one substance and has no attributes. That is independent of conjunction and disjunction. Samavaya, substance is the one and same cause of substance, attributes, action. That is exist in one. Vishesha samavayaha. For both, samanya vishesha iti buddhya pekshamam. Generics and species are related to understand the samavaya, the relationship in a person. Then Vaisheshika talks extensively about atoms. Universe has two aspects, Nitya and Anitya. The universe is constituted of four Paramanus, earth, water, fire, and air. And five substances, ether, time, direction, mind, and soul. They are eternal. They are eternal. Paramana, they are eternal, not subject to change. Sat akaranavat nityam, that which is existent and uncaused. Paramanu means tiniest particle beyond which there is no division. The smallest particle division of matter. Paramanu has no magnitude, no length and breadth and thickness. Later it is called God particle. Now, Vaisheshika talks about motion and parallelism with the contemporary physics. Now, he provides sutras that describes the physical law related to motion. That is, karma sadhyam na vidyate. From motion, new motion is not known. Karana bhavat karya bhavaha. In the absence of cause, there is absence of effect. There is no cause.
Karana abhavat. Karana abhavat. Karya abhava.
Samanyam vishesha iti buddhi apekshaha. The properties of universal and particular are ascertained by the mind. Saditi yato dravya guna karmasu sa sataha. Existence is self-defined. Attribute and motion are potential as satta. Satkaranavat nityam. Existence is uncaused and eternal. Some sutras of Kannada resembles the laws of motion. That is, samyoga bhave gurutvat patanam. In the absence of conjunction, causes the object to fall. Nodana vishesha bhavat na urdhvam na tirtya gamananam. In the absence of a force, there is no upward motion, sideward motion, no or motion in general. There is no motion. Karya virodhi karmaha. Action is opposed by reaction. For every action, there is a reaction. Then we discussed about the similarities between Nyaya and Vaisheshika. Likes and hatred, sukham dukkar, adad ichcha vesha prayatna sukha dukkan jnanat mano lingam. Likes and hatreds, dukkam sukham are caused by the for all these things atma is the karana. Yukabat jnanam utpattihi manaso lingam. Mind is the reason for soul. Atmani indriyartha sannikarshe jnanasya bhavo abhavascha manaso lingam. When we want to see some object, the communication is happening between indriya and atma, and that reason is the mind. Asatkaryavadam pratipadanam pratipadanam samanameva. They are all common. That is then there are Nyaya Vaisheshika Abhipraya Pedaha. Nyayaha Chatvari Pramanani is there in 4 Pramanas. Anumanam, Upamanam, Pratyaksha and Shabda. Vaisheshika, there are only 2. Anumanam and Pratyaksha. Perception and inference. Indriyani, abhautikani. That is, indriyas are non-physical. Bhautikani means indriyani. Vaisheshika says that they are more physical. Moksha marge shodasha padarthanam tattvajnanam NYAYIKA. That is 16 padarthas there for NYAYIKA. That is 6 padarthas are there for Vaisheshika. Samavaya sambandaha pratyaksha grahyaha. That is NYAYIKA says inherence is through direct perception. Here Vaisheshika is samavaya sambandaha anumana grahyaha. Inherence is through inference. That is Pitarapaha. Then NYAYIKA says Pitarapaha vadinaha. Changes happening itself. The Vaisheshika is Pilupaka vadinaha. That is one mango, when it is ripens and then go to decay, then color changes, everything is there. That is called Pitara Pakavadinaha. But Pilu Pakavadinaha, that the previous state is not there. When mango, the changes, everything happens, previous changes is not there, it says. But Pilu Pakavadinaha says that due to the atoms, it's all happened. NYAYIKANAM mate paksha sattvam, that is 5 concepts. Apaksha sattvam, vipaksha sattva, abhadit sattva, asap pradipakshi tattva iti pancha amshaha. Vaisheshikanam mate apaksha sattvam, vipaksha sattvam, vipaksha sattvam. There are 3 concepts here. Then Annabhatta, both he made Vaisheshika and Nyaya combined together, and he gave one simple sutras, that is in his work called the Tarka Shastra. That is in which he discusses some he discusses some sutras. That sutras.
It is Tarka Sangraha, not Tarka Shastram.
Tarka Sangraha.
Annambhatta's text is Tarka Sangraha.
1 minute. Dravya Guna Karma Samanya Vishesha Samavaya Samabhavaha Sapta Padarthaha. This sutra tells about the Sapta Padarthaha. That is all the Padarthas already we had seen. Tatra Dravyani Prithivya Teja Vak Akasha Kala Dik Atma Manamsi Navaiva. That is of Navaiva of Dravyas. About the Dravyas, they are telling. That is, Dravyas are 9 in numbers. And Gunas are 24. Rupam, Rasam, Gandharvam, Gandha, Sparsha, Sankhya, Parimanam, Tritakvam, Samyogam, Vibhagam, Paratvam, Aparatvam, Gurutvam, Dhruvatvam, Snehaha, Shabdaha, Buddhihi, Sukham, Dukkam, Icha, Dvesha, Prayatna, Dharmam, Adharmam, Samskaraha. Karma is Ukshepanam, Apakshepanam, Akunchanam, Prasaranam, Gamanam. Samanyam, that is Paranam, Param and Aparam. Visheshaha is only one. Then Abhavaha, Pragbhavaha, Dvamsabhavaha, Adyantabhavaha and Anyonya Bhavaha. Then many people has written commentaries on all these Vaisheshika sutras. That's all.
Astu samyak. Agre Sankhya Darshanam. Jaitava.
Namaskaram. Today I will be talking about the Sankhya Darshanam, which is one of the Shat Darshanam. So, within the Sankhya Karika, which is the oldest work on the Sankhya Darshanam, it is the Darshana is referred to as Etat Pavitram Agram. So it is the supreme purifying knowledge. The word Sankhya appears for the first time in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, and it also is found in the Shanti Parva of Mahabharata. So the Sankhya word actually does not occur within the text of the Sankhya Karika. So if you look at the origin of the word itself, Sankhya, it is formed with the Upasarga Sama, which is together, which means together, and Kya, which it is a dhatu or the the root word of it, which means to count, to enumerate, calculate, or sum up. So the combination of these two, the upasarga as well as the mool word, means the system is one of Sankhya, the system, it's one of enumerative analysis, which operates through a system of classification and division. Just to look at a quick bird's eye view of the things that Sankhya covers. So the theory of knowledge in Sankhya, so there is pramana, which can be pratyaksha, anumana, and shabda, which is similar to what Nalini Bhagini had covered in the presentation on Nyaya. Then there is the notion of suffering or dukkha. So dukkha is of three types: adhyatmika, adhidaivika, and adhibhotika. So they are of various types, some due to external causes, various others. We will come back to each of them in detail later on as I go on with the presentation. And then the metaphysics of Sankhya, which talks of the two realities, which is Purusha and Prakriti, the three gunas within Prakriti, and Satkaryavada, which is the theory of causality. So we'll be looking at each of these things in detail.
Just a minute. Can you adjust your camera? We are not able to see your face properly.
Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the laptop. Is that better?
Yeah. Now it is.
Okay. Yes. So the Purusha, the two principles of Sankhya, which is Purusha and Prakriti, it looks at the material world, which is looked at as in a twofold manner. So what is vyakta, which is manifest, and what is avyakta, which is unmanifest, or which is not perceivable through the organs of senses. And then there are two types of organs or indriyas. One is the jnanendriyani, and the other one is the karmendriyani. And there are two types of objects, so that do not come within the scope of perception through the indriyas. So they are the atindriya, and which is transcendental. So this is alaukik, which cannot be perceived through the senses. And the other sort of objects are paroksha. So they do exist, but they cannot be perceived through various reasons. But they are not alaukik. So for example, the stars or planets which are at a great distance, you cannot perceive through sense organs. So they would come as paroksha. Then, so looking at the different causes of dukkha, so because Sankhya looks at bondage and liberation, so dukkha or misery, it is cause for bondage. So it looks at the dukkha in quite a lot of detail. So there is, we looked at it before. So dukkha can be adhyatmik, adhidevik, and adhibhautik. Bhautika. Adhyatmik, adhidevika is could be reasons such as could be examples of that is such as ativrishti, anavrishti, or miseries or dukkha which is caused by yakshas, rakshasas, etc. And adhibhautika, so this is caused by external influences like pashu, pakshi, other manushyaha. Then adhibhautika, which can be sharirik or manasik. So sharirika is could be caused by imbalances of the kapha, vata, pitta in the human body, and manasika is because of the mental influences such as kama, krodha, lobha, moha. These can also cause the manasika dukkha. So then there is ahankara, which is ahankara itself. What it is the feeling of I-ness. me, mine. So that ego is referred to as ahankara, and that is of three types: Vaikrita ahankara, Bhutadi ahankara, and Taijasa ahankara. And I won't go into too much details here because we'll never finish otherwise. So these are the categories in which it's divided. They are caused by the three gunas, sattva, tamas, etc. So each of them is related to that. So then Prakriti itself, as we know, the three constituents are, of course, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Then the pramanas, which are accepted by Sankhya, Sankhya being one of the philosophies of Nyaya. So it also believes in the three. So pramana, so pratyaksha, anumana, and shabda. And anumana, which is inference, is of three types, which is purvavata, sheshavata, and samanya drishta. So this is exactly as talked about by Nalini Bhagini. So I won't go into detail again into that. Then functions of the organs. So they are aharana, which is holding on to something, dharana, which is retaining something, and prakashakara, which is manifesting. And then the antakarana, which is made of the three principles, which is mahat or buddhi, which is the intellect, ahankara, which is the sense of ego-ness or I-ness, ego or I-ness, and manasa, which is the mind. So Vishesha specific objects are threefold. So because this philosophy is about, there is a lot of categorization and subdivision. So there will be a lot of these different categories, but they're quite illuminating. Even the names and what they mean are quite illuminating. So Vishesha or specific objects. So this is one category. So here they can be Sukshma or subtle, Mata Pitrija, which is born of a father or mother, or Prabhuta, which is gross elements, which is organic matter, non-living, apparently non-living matter. So then there is a fourfold enumeration where dharma of dharma itself, and that has four aspects, which is daya, dana, niyama, and yama. Daya and dana are quite apparent. Niyama is obligations and yama is the restraints. Then adibhautika dukkha. Here the misery is resulting from animate and inanimate objects, and that is of four types. So jarayuja, which is caused by organisms which are born from a womb. And then andaja, so here the organisms that are born from eggs. Svedaja, which is organism born from sweat or moisture. So categories like mosquitoes. This will be included here. And udbija, which is plants. Then so sattvika forms of buddhi are fourfold: dharma, jnana, vairagya, and aishwarya. And I believe here Aishwarya is talking about siddhis. Then the tamasika forms of buddhi are fourfold, which are exact opposite, which are adharma, ajnana, anaishwarya, and avairagya. Then there are pratyaya sarga, or the creation of the intellect itself, which is mahata, is analyzed in four groups, which is viparyaya, ashaktihi, tushti, and siddhi. So I believe so viparyaya is basically caused through wrong perception. Ashaktihi is incapacity or incapability. Tushti is satisfaction, and siddhi is attainment or accomplishment. Then we are still continuing to look at the types of dukkha and their classifications. And adhidaivika dukkham, it is divided into fivefold: Shita, Ushna, Vata, Varsha, Ashani. So these are the elements, different temperature differences, and natural occurrences such as Varsha. Then looking at Avyakta or unmanifest. So here this is the cause of the unmanifest, the fact that it exists itself. There are 5 reasons that are given for that. Bhedanam parimanat samanyavat shaktitah pravrittah karana karya vibhagah and vishwarupa abhivagah. So just quickly looking at what each of these means. So Shaktitah Pravrittah is powered by activity. Karana Karya Vibhagah. So that is talking about the cause and the effect. And Vishwarupa Abhivagah is talking about multiplicity or diversity that exists around us. And Bhedanam Parinamat is transformation or change. And Samanyavat, sorry. So it is Samanvayat. That is talking about regular succession of things. So then we look at the Sukshma or subtle things that exist. So Tanmatraha. Tanmatraha are of 5 types. Shabda Tanmatraha, Sparsha Tanmatraha, Rupa Tanmatraha, Rasa Tanmatraha, and Gandha Tanmatraha. So each of them are related to the Indriyas. So Shabda, Rupa, Sparsha, Gandha, and Rasa. So like this, there are several classifications of organs, actions, elements. I will enumerate the elements. So those are 5 in number, and they are Akash, Vayu, Tejasah, Apah, and Prithvi. Then prana or the vital airs in the body. So these are 5 in number. So these are 5 in number. Prana, Apana, Vyana, Samana, and Udana. So prana vayu, that is the air that exists in the heart region. Then apana vayu, it helps in excretion from the body. Vyana is sarva sharira, and it helps so in things like blood circulation through the body. Samana vayu, it is the air that exists within the Nabhi, in the Nabhi region, and it helps in digestion. And Udana, it exists in the throat region and helps in speech. So then we look at the divisions of viparyaya or wrong perception. So what are the causes that lead to wrong perception? They are listed as tamasa, moha, mahamoha, tamisra, andhatamisra. So moha and is quite obvious. Tamasa, gloom, darkness, ajnana. Then animals are classified as Pashu, Mriga, Pakshi, Sarisrip, Sthavarani, and Bhutani. So the names are quite explanatory. Sthavarani is those that do not move, the created objects that do not move, so like trees. Then then we look at the concept of Purushaha and what is it that the reasons that prove the existence of Purushaha according to Sankhya. They are listed as Sangyataha, Trigunadi Viparyata, Adhishthanat, Bhoktri Bhavat, and Kaivalya. So this is Trigunadi Viparyat is absence of the 3 gunas. Adhishthanat is controlling factor. Bhoktri Bhava is an experiencer, the existence of an experiencer. And Kaivalya is, of course, that state of supreme realization, or which is, you could say, moksha, or it is supreme realization basically. And then we are looking at the different principles of Purusha. So composed of the three gunas: non-discriminated, objective, productive, common to all spirits, general. There are 7 bhavas or psychic states which Sankhya says that through which Prakriti binds herself. So through which you cannot achieve kaivalya. So these are dharma, virtue; adharma, vice; vairagya, which is non-attachment. Sorry, yeah. And avairagya, which is the exact opposite, which is attachment; aishwarya, which is divine, called divine power; anaishwarya, which is lack of it; and ajnana. So these are, through these things, Prakriti prevents these bhavas which Prakriti binds created things to itself. Then the divine powers are eightfold: anima, laghima, praptihi, prakamyam, mahima, tatha ishvatvam cha vashitvam cha tatha kama vasayika. Then so these are all siddhi. So the philosophy of Sankhya, it is dualistic. So because it talks about the Purusha and the Prakriti, and the sanidhyam of these causes creation. So in Bhagavad Gita, the term Purusha, it is used in the sense of an individual soul, but the external world is spoken of as Prakriti. So it is so all the activities that an organism performs, all the feelings, etc., pain, pleasure, everything. So all of this is happening within this system, or it's the phenomenal world. So Prakriti is it is the ultimate reality, but it is also called avyakta and pradhana. Pradhana, it's the pre-established principle. Avyakta is unmanifest. So Prakriti itself, it is the ultimate cause is because of the three constituent gunaha, which is of course sattva, rajas, and tamas. And then Mahat, which is Buddhi or the intellect. So Ahankara, as we looked at before, so Prakriti passes from the state of Mahat to that of Ahankara. So this is an evolution that happens, which it produces new modes of being, such as Indriyas, on the organs, and the Tanmatras, the subtle elements within. And Manas, it is the central organ of the senses, so which receives information from the Indriyani and then processes it. And the Indriyas themselves, we looked at it before, that they are Jnanendriya and Karmendriya. And Karmendriya, so here, so hands, feet, speech, organs of excretion, and organs of procreation. All of these are the karmendriya. And jnanendriya is the chakshu, shotram, ghrana, rasana. So these are the touch, hearing, sight, smell, all of these things. Tvaka, skin, which is the touch, the sense organ. So then we are looking at the tanmatras. We looked at it briefly before. So each of these, they are related to the indriyas. So you've got Shabda Tanmatra, Sparsha Tanmatra, Rupa Tanmatra, Rasa Tanmatra, and Gandha Tanmatra. So then the Sankhya Darshana also talks about the Linga Sharira, which is the subtle body. And the different bhavas or the psychic state, there is a link between the psychic states and the Linga Sharira. They are closely linked with each other. So Bhutani, they are the gross elements. So from the point of view of the Sankhya philosophy, Jnana is for the purpose of overcoming the threefold dukkha, the three types of dukkha that we looked at. And it is also termed as the Purushartha Jnana, which is the existential goal of man. So freedom or kaivalya, according to Sankhya. So this is the absolute state of or final realization. So it is referred to as samyagnadhikamya. So it contains both paravidya and aparavidya. And it is also referred to as atindriya pratiti. So which is a metaphysical insight, which is beyond the indriyas, the gross indriyas. So to summarize the Sankhya Darshana. So here the goal is Samyak Jnana, which is the right knowledge. And this knowledge, it's extremely pure. So Vishuddhi, the characteristics are Vishuddhi. It is free from error, which is Aviparyaya, and it is absolute or Kevala. Then it is the relation with ethics or Niti Shastra, which is the rightness of conduct, rightness or wrongness of conduct. So there is that link with Sankhya. So there is the ideal form, the ideal goals of human life are the Purushartha, as they are listed in the Gita as well. So for the Sankhya, though, the concepts of right and wrong are preliminary, they are not final. So we should start with these concepts and build our own philosophy through them. But when we reach the highest state, then we will transcend the right or wrong. So with that, I'd like to finish. Thank you.
Very well done, but a bit long. Astu.
Mahodaya, there was so much. I actually skipped a few things, and I just because it's too long.
All these systems, they are elaborate, very difficult to talk in a concise manner.
That's true.
Sundaresh Mahodaya, would you like to? Yoga?
You can all hear me now? Can you see me? Can you see my video? One small request, Bhagini. Actually, can I do it first in the next class? I've got a splitting headache, so I don't want to lose my concentration while explaining.
Oh, okay. No problem. You can do
Thank
it in the next class. Astu
thank you.
समापयामः वा? ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ।